Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new camp build. So today we are working with the Rustic Helvetia bundle that has been added to the Atomic Shop this week. It has, as of time of recording, been taken back down from the Atomic Shop, however. Reason for that being that there are a couple of pieces missing. They haven't actually told us what, though I have a couple of theories. And they are going to be making sure everybody who's already got this bundle gets those missing pieces before they bring it back, whenever they bring it back. So we're kind of waiting to hear more on the Discord at the moment, but hopefully that stuff will get sorted out. But I had it already bought by the time this revelation was publicised, so I thought we'd build with it anyway, as we've got what we need, really. So this is where we are, down here, just to the south of Helvetia. It seemed like a sensible place to build, given that I'm doing, Helvetia-style camp. We're actually just by the river here, not in the middle of it, contrary to the map marker, but nonetheless, nice little spot by the road there, so works out quite nicely. That's close to the village as we can get. I've seen people build here before. Quite a small spot. That big tree at the back obviously is not going anywhere, so it's not quite flat, but it's flat enough to do the job. So, compact little cottage build required in this space, because, yeah, limited little space, but that's quite nice. I like small builds, so. Get a simple core foundation in. We'll add a few bits around the side and dress it up and make a relatively simple cottage with quite a cool design, I think. So, the new porches here are quite nice. This set on the whole is just a reskin of the existing Helvetia set, but there's a couple of little differences that I do quite like. The main walls are kind of plainer. They're blue in the original set and they're sort of greyish brown in this one. But the porches in particular I do like. I think the red works quite nicely. I think there's a little difference compared to the other set, but yeah, it definitely looks quite nice, this, I think. So I'm dropping these down at the back here just a little bit to give it a little bit of flavour, a little bit of variety. It's a very, very small step down, so don't really need the stairs I'm about to put in, but it kind of completes it and makes sure the pathing and everything is solid. And on the plus side, it means you don't hit your head on your way through the door, so that's always a win. Having a bit of an issue getting these to snap in, though. Yep, that's the wrong way around, of course it is. There we go, fix that. And that's the porches in place, and we'll head on to the walls. As I say with these, they're kind of, as you see, sort of greyish. I'm pretty sure there's another set that uses a similar colour, it's not quite the same. We'll get the doors and the windows in. This is where my theory kicks in on exactly what's missing from this set. I think there are two sets of windows missing from the full-size walls here. And I also think the half-size walls are supposed to have windows on, though I'm not so sure about that. But they don't. Anyway, we've just got the one half-size wall. But for now, I'm going to put 4 of those half-size walls around the back, and we're going to do some stuff with the roof to make sure it's a bit more interesting than just a box. So there's a couple of corner roofs on. I'm going to take these 2 side half pieces off so that I can snap these slanted greenhouse walls in to create sort of a raised roof section at the back with a little bit of extra light coming through there. Now we can get these walls in. Have to take those walls at the side off, otherwise those slants won't snap in. They're a bit finicky, but now that that's in place, we can put the corners on the back. There we go. Doesn't massively change the vibe inside. A bit more light, that's about it. But it does kind of break up the shape a little bit, make it slightly more interesting to look at, I think. I do like the rustic greenhouse pieces for that. Regular ones are fine as well, but I do quite like the rustic ones. I do also like these new railings that have come with this set. It's an entirely new style of porch railing, and they look quite nice. I do think those are quite pretty, so that's cool. No new stairs with this. Don't know whether that's deliberate or an error, but there are no new stairs as it currently stands. Could go either way, that one. I'm going to whip this one out and replace it with a stone floor, because I'm going to put my kitchen over here, and I'm going to put a hard floor surface in there. And when you actually step on it, I want a hard floor sound rather than a wooden footstep sound, which is just a bit weird when the floor doesn't look like it's made of wood. So there we go. Heading round to the back, the core build is essentially done now. We're going to just sort of finish things off, enclose this back area, and give it some style and flavour and stuff. So we're going to get some chain link and put it along at least this part of the porch here. Really like that these kind of sink into the posts without too much difficulty. And you try and go through too many of the posts, it gets a bit awkward here. And they can interfere with each other, but otherwise they're sinking quite nicely. Incidentally, though the haunted house kit that these usually come in has been on the Atomic Shop fairly recently, the chain link's been missing from that set as of late. So I know there's a lot of people out there that would like to pick this up. Hint, hint, Bethesda, if you happen to catch this. And more stuff like this is always welcome as well, because they are very cool and very practical. So I'm going to mix things up along this side, as this is facing towards Helvetia proper, and they're scorched over there and they like to shoot at me. So we're going to close this side off with something a little bit more substantial than chain link and use some junk fences. Just going to nudge this reversed up against the edge of the porch here. Now, nice and easy. We've got a few gaps here and there, but that kind of adds to the ramshackle improvised vibe. There we go. Switch over and use some of the new plank partitions, junk wall thingamajigs, that we've had added a couple of weeks ago. There was one on the Atomic Shop. Kind of a bit more nautical themed, mostly. That's the vibe I get from these anyway. And these are really cool additions. It's nice to have new junk walls every so often, especially for those of us who like sort of reinforcing things like this. Or just building junk walls. And yeah, I really like these, so keep an eye out for them if you haven't got them. They're definitely a worthwhile addition. They are a little more finicky about being placed, though, as we can see. They don't want to sit quite as close. I actually discovered on the next one I'm going to do a technique I wish I had realised prior to editing this video. Or a concept, rather, less of a technique. Because it worked out quite well, and if I'd realised I could have done something fun with it. It still looks good in the end anyway, but, you know, kind of like, oh, I wish I thought of that. So, speaking of this piece, as you can see, I'm having a bit more issue with this one. It doesn't want to sit as close as I would like. In fact, it's not even close at all. I'm getting a bit closer there. However, not sure if this is the porch that's causing the issue, but my initial thought was that it might be this window. Turns out it's not. I think it may be the porch, but it was being a bit finicky. So I came up with a solution here. Let's do lay it round here. We'll pull the porch out altogether and eyeball this piece back into place. Now this is where I wish I'd done it all the way along with the wooden pieces on the right there. Just because the end result here is that I actually had this plank partition a little too far forward and a little too far into the porch, which actually created a cooler effect than intended. So, you know, as I say, hindsight's 20/20 and all that, but a bit of trial and error might have made something fun there if I'd realised prior to finishing the build. Still, we're going to grab the flamethrower at this point, because as you can see, the porch won't go back in, because that particular wall over there is too close. Destroy these, now we can get the porch to go back in. And if you look carefully at the top right, in a second, this is going in the wrong way around as well, yep, you'll actually see that the plank partition there is clipping through a little bit. It's actually inside a bit, which would have made for a really nice finished effect if I'd realised at the time. But there we go. One for a future build, perhaps. So, last little sections that I want to do for this before we decorate. I'm going to drop those beaten up stairs in, because they look pretty cool, and sort of add to the more ramshackle vibe that we're going to have around the back here. I'm going to get this chain link gate in. I did try the larger gate, and I tried a couple of other bits, and just wasn't happy with the look. This one kind of works quite well, and it allows me to do something that is quite fun. So I did try and put the chain link in, but collision with two posts and the chain link that's already there was not too surprisingly a no-go. So I came up with this idea. Going to have to reposition the gate just a little bit, make sure everything lines up. Should about do it. Nice and central. And now we can use some of these signs. In this case, these are from the Valley Galleria. You can get them from Daily Ops if you haven't picked them up yet. And use these to sort of plug up the gaps with. There's a few bits and pieces that are about the right size. A few that just aren't, like, say, that painting. But we can sort of carefully put them in. There's just enough support that it'll connect on both ends. And it looks pretty cool. I'm quite happy that this works, because it's a fun, scrappy, improvised sort of result. Got a couple more signs there. I think I've got another one somewhere around here that I'm going to use as well. There we go. I kind of like that there's a few gaps here and there as well. It looks sort of adds to the improvised feeling of it all as well. Somewhere between secure and improvised. Unfortunately, most of this stuff here is not going to fit. It's too small. So we'll have to rummage around and see what else we can find. Nuka-Cola plaque. Yep, that works for me. Plugs the gap just about fine. Cool. So, I want to shore up this chain link a little bit, make it a little bit more solid, and a little bit more three-dimensional as well, so it's not quite so flat on the back. Unfortunately, this raw cement barricade, which I believe comes from Hunt for the Treasure Hunter, is not going in because the overhanging roof and other things and the slope of the ground and stuff just all interacting to be awkward. So we're going to blueprint it, use my little temporary blueprint there that I'm forever overwriting for doing this with. And then just drop that in, and the blueprint will go where the ordinary thing will not. Chuck a guard post in here. And some barbed wire fences. This is Hunt for the Treasure Hunter as well, I think. That one jumped up as well, so onto blueprinting for this one as well. When I remember how to do it. There we go. So now we just chuck that one in as well. Should sit nice and snug in the gap there. Brilliant, doesn't jump up. So, stick a fence on the top here. I know this looks kind of like it's floating, but my sort of headcanon for it is that it's kind of nailed on rather than actually being supported by the cement barricade. And yeah, adds a little bit of extra depth and texture and stuff, and you can still see through it, which is cool. Same thing with these barbed wire fences here. Another one there, and they're all off-center and stuff. It looks quite cool. I played around trying to fill this gap for ages, but the chalkboard, very carefully positioned, ends up a little bit slanted there. But in this case, it means it's kind of connected at both ends, so that makes more sense. Oh yeah, cool. So, I'm going to head off and do a load more decoration on the outside, and absolutely tons more on the inside. And I'm going to replace this window that I completely forgot about. There we go. And I will come back in just a moment, and we'll take a tour around the finished product. So, I'll see you over there in a second. Voila! Really quite happy with this one in the end. The extra details and decoration and little splashes of colour have brought this together. You can see lots of little bits and pieces around this, little dots of colour. The red I wasn't sure about on the build set initially. I thought it was a bit obnoxious. And then I realised there's actually quite a lot of red-coloured little bits of decoration. You've got the letterbox there, you've got the vendor there, and the flags and flowers and stuff. So it actually works quite well in the end. There's a lot of stuff that kind of ties it together. I did a couple of extra trees on the left here, because there's plenty on the right and around the back. But it sort of makes it look like it's been here for a while and hasn't just fallen from space. Got my Collectron down the side there, who literally walks straight up the side of the building here and then around the front up the road. Turns around and comes back again. It's actually got quite a little pathway there that works quite nicely. A few flowers. Didn't have too many of these sort of bits of grass that got bulldozed either, so that's quite nice. There's a few bits around the other side that I put some brambles down to kind of conceal, and that works quite nicely. Again, a few extra bits of shrubbery and stuff. The crops are really just here for decoration. See, I added some more junk to the outside just to, again, texture it up and make the walls a bit more 3D. Got my clear weather machine tucked in there as well. Symptomatic, and the toilet and the shelter there as well. So, you know, everything we need for a functional player home, which is the way I like to go. Definitely liking this. It's kind of small and cosy feeling. Nice little view up the road towards Helvetia there. A little bit further reference as to where we are, just by the bridge. I had initially thought this whole thing was a little too far over to the left, but in the end, putting the entrance on the side here, I actually quite like the result. This perfume machine has been, I think, on the Atomic Shop before. That it was one of a few things I picked up this week that were knocked down in price for varying reasons. They came in bundles that I had other bits of and stuff like that, so I kind of picked up a bunch of random odds and ends. That's one of them. I do like this new door, by the way, that comes with this new Helvetia set. The windows in. Looks really, really cool. I have subsequently gone and locked all my doors because Yasmin keeps leaving them open again. And here we go. Just a one-room little cottage, but it's quite nice. A whole bunch of cryptid stuff on the ceiling there. The wall, rather, the top. It's not the ceiling at all, is it? Thought a little typewriter and kind of writing station on the dining table there would be quite fun. Give the place a functional lived-in vibe. Just adds the change of tone. Here's the kitchen, crammed in the corner. Use the blue clean set. I've got the white one from the last scoreboard as well. It's just about wrapping up at the moment. But we don't have a matching cooker for that. And Yasmin's cooking station works well for this one. A little bit of light at the top. I really wanted a different set of lights, but they don't have the right colour and vibe, so I had to go with the cage lights. I do like the light they put out. A couple of bits down here by the fireplace. A cash to burn fuel thing on the right there is another thing I picked up for not very many atoms because of discounts and stuff, so I'm quite happy about that. The bedside cabinet and the dresser here are both part of the current bundle as well that this building set came in, so they're on the Atomic Shop at the moment, I believe, still. That wardrobe at the end of the bed, however, that is not part of this bundle. It is a stash box, as is the bedside table, incidentally, but it came a few weeks ago, actually, that one, so it all matches up quite nicely. And there's a bed that matches as well, but it doesn't make sense to have a bedside cabinet with that bed, so that's why I didn't use it. So, heading outside into our fortified back porch crafting space. There's my armor bench. A couple of extra bits and pieces around here. And the kind of busyness and stuff scattered all over the place vibe out here I really quite like. It's come together quite well. I'm squeezed down the middle there. Got all my benches in, which went quite nicely too. A little barbecue if you need it. There's my taxidermy tinker station. Couple extra bits and pieces just knocking around by it there. There's my punch card machine. Been quite enjoying tucking the power armor station into the corner recently for a sort of a change of vibe on it. And there we go. Weapons workbench, brewing and chemistry stations with a few extra bits of detail around them as well. Yeah, definitely pleased with the way that all looks. I feel like the sea chest down there was perhaps a little bit out of place, but I hardly ever use it and it's a fun thing, so I just kind of shoehorned it in anyway. But yeah, I like this. I think it feels secure, feels cozy. Let's have a quick shufty out the back as well before we head back on through. There we go, nice little spot under the trees here. A nice cozy vibe. See, I've added a few extra little bits of detail out the back here, not too much. A couple of plants, a couple of Helvetia fashion decorations. What do you call those things? Lanterns, I suppose, but they don't glow, so... They do look a lot like the light I've got, the lampshade I've got in here, though. So, let's close this up. Swing back through the house. Yeah, there's lots of little bits of detail in this that I quite liked. It took a while to put the decoration together. Not inordinately long or anything, but came together in quite a fun way with lots of stuff going on. Technically speaking, there's no curtains that actually fit over these windows, and neither do those blinds, but they're the best fit I had available, and it looks alright, I think. As long as you don't stare at it too much. Yeah, loads of little bits of detail. It's the way to go. For some reason, those magazine stands by the door there are a bit iffy at the moment, and they won't let you fill them up. Well, sometimes they won't. It's an intermittent issue, but yeah, that's only about 3/4 full because one side didn't want to fill up. Very strange. But anyway, there we go. Little Helvetia cottage with the new building set that hopefully Bethesda will get the missing pieces sorted fairly soon on. I'm pretty chuffed with this. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider dropping subs and likes. I do very much appreciate. Social media links, merch store, channel memberships down below as well if you want to support the channel that way. Massively helps out. Much appreciated. And join us for live streams as well if you get the chance. We're picking Fallout up with the new patch in a couple of days. Looking forward to that. And we are playing, well, we've got absolutely loads of stuff lined up for the rest of the year. So I hope you'll join us for that. But for now, thank you very much for watching. And I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.